Good morning, Suswagatam, Namaste to everyone. Today we have a very interesting topic. Dr. Swamy has been traveling extensively. In spite of that, he's agreed to do today's program because, given the importance of the topic and given its impact on India and where we are today, we're gonna have a good discussion today. We have, as usual, Dr. Swamy, Dr. Arvind Chaturvedi, and Tejas Navangul with us. Dr. Swamy, today, as we've discussed earlier, we're going to talk about Bangladesh, the coup, what really transpired. I mean, how come Sheikh Hasina was, driven out of the country, and how its impact on India, and specifically, is that a failure on multiple fronts from an Indian side? Essentially, is it a failure on the intelligence side? I mean, did the great James Bond of India, Ajit Doval, fail to see that this was coming? Long due. In fact, you had raised this. Is it something that that was a failure on the intelligence part, or was it even a diplomatic failure, even post facto? Um, uh, all said and done, whether she got elected fair and square is besides the point. But at the end of the day, a democratically elected leader has been kicked out of the country, really driven out of the country. And where we are today, we have a person who's just been plopped in that country to lead it, and no sight of having an election in sight. So with this, Dr. Swamy, over to you, and give us a picture as to where we are today on all of this stuff.
We are in a pit. That's all I can say in short. Anyway, let me say this. That actually the what happened in Bangladesh, the coup, shows the, shall I say, the bankruptcy or the impotence of the Modi government. Was there an option? I will just explain to you what the option was, and where the people of at least the Awami League would have welcomed it. And the vast masses, except the hardliners, they would all have welcomed it. But I'll come to it in a moment. What I was very surprised is that the United States had come out against us in de facto terms. And yet in the Quad meeting, they only discussed some chemical thing for one of the industrialists who wants to set up, refineries in India. And nothing else.
They were just talking about the HPV vaccine that Bill Gates is trying to promote in India, Dr. Swamy.
That's right.
The official announcement from the White House says the biggest initiative they call the Cancer Moonshot Initiative. That's what was being discussed. And why is India being made the guinea pig?
That's right. Earlier on, even on smallpox and all that, Bill Gates had a free hand, and God knows how many little children were maimed, dead, all that. I think there's some mystery that with Modi coming into power, this Bill Gates is getting such access. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's in my opinion, what India is facing today is Bill Gates is a small fry for us just now. Let me concentrate on the strategic aspects. So the United States sided with the people who wanted to topple the government. So on one side you're in Quad, and the other side the United States is doing this. Now there's a question: did you raise it in New York? No, you were only worried about Bill Gates getting a free hand to India. So therefore, what is Mr. Modi up to? Does he understand what is going on? Our country is, first of all, China comes and takes a big piece of India, and he says nobody came. Koi nahi aaya. I mean, as if China never came. How can you say something so absurd? All right, then let me at least go there. The government of India would not let me go there and examine the place. I wanted to go to Depsang. They won't allow it. So consequently, you have something to hide. We filed an RTI. Even that they blocked. Where we asked how much land was taken since 2020, and they blocked that question. I put it in Parliament, again blocked the question. They said we cannot answer it in national interest. What is the national interest? The Chinese know about it. What is the national interest? Only Indians have dangers of national interest. So this is the point number one. What is it that is binding India? That we are not able to take a stand in our national interests. Our national interests can come in a number of ways. Now, you see, let me point out to you that our relationship with Bangladesh is special because we sent our soldiers to liberate Bangladesh from the part that was a part of Pakistan, and we sent our soldiers who died for this purpose, and ultimately we liberated the East Pakistan region, which later came to be called Bangladesh. Now, at that time, the question arose, did we have any rights? Yes, we have Hindus there. And those rights, are they recognized? Yes. I'll read out something which is a secret. I got it from a person who was a student at Harvard, and through long channels it came to me. And what does that say? That there was a meeting in 1971, before the Indian troops went into Bangladesh, a meeting between Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister of India, and Tajuddin Ahmad, who was then Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Of course, Mujibur earlier was the president, and this fellow was the Prime Minister. So Tajuddin was the prime minister at that stage. In the Bangladesh that we created in Bengal, when all these people came running out, huge numbers came from Bangladesh, Bengalis, and we gave them a place to stay and so on, and we created a Bangladesh government, a special government. And in that, the Prime Minister was chosen as Tajuddin Ahmad. And this is what Indira Gandhi and Tajuddin agreed to and put it in writing. And it is in the secret, part of the Indian Secretariat. And there, what it says is, it is permanently guaranteed. Now look at the word, permanently guaranteed. The two of them, Indira Gandhi and this Prime Minister, signed. It's permanently guaranteed that the Indian Army to reach any inch of land in the Bangladesh to come, to protect lives and properties of Hindus and other minorities, that is including Sikhs and Jains and so on. Protect their life and other without approval of the parliaments of both countries. Indira Gandhi, of course, could get away with that, but I mean, you have hardly formed a government and you already have given us the right to say no, I mean, disregard the parliament of the new Bangladesh. And remain there, without the approval of Parliament of both countries, and remain there. The Indian Army can remain there till the month or years of war. They will feel satisfied about the peace of minds of the lives of all sects of minorities and communities in Bangladesh. Recorded by Mr. Ruhul Qudus, Chief Secretary, Bangladesh in exile at Calcutta. This is a commitment. When the very first day when I said, send the Indian Army, people said, how can they cross the international boundary? I said, we have a commit now. Now I'm telling you, at that time I said it, nobody would believe it. I'm saying today, let the government of India contradict that such an agreement was there in 1971. Let the government of India give me access to their to the archives, and I'll produce it out of that. I got this from Bangladeshis, and therefore they are the ones to lose in this kind of arrangement where India is given free hand as long as you want for the sake of Hindus, and we let them down. We are supposed to be, BJP is supposed to be a party which stands up for Hindus who have been under persecution wherever they are. And we have betrayed that promise that we made. Now, let me add further that what is now happened is that the hardliners have taken over. The Hindus there are feeling absolutely scared. They are all scared that anything at any time. They have already been, by the way, butchered, raped, and all that in when the government was being toppled. And now they are afraid who's going to protect us. The Indians are not taking interest, and these people are anti-Indian, particularly anti-Hindu. So there's a fear. The Americans who talk about for human rights and all that, they're going to get probably a base to check China, and this government, which will probably be extremist in the religious terms, but will be probably pro-United States, and so United States would have consolidated its security matters. But I want to know, did the Prime Minister raise this issue in the Quad meeting that took place in New York? Not New York, what is that small island?
Delaware, Dr. Swamy.
Delaware. Sorry. You live in America, you know that. So Delaware, I think Wilmington was the capital, perhaps. There, they held a meeting, and did Modi there say, my security says not what I am saying, not the Hindu fanatics of BJP saying, it is Mrs. Gandhi who entered into this agreement with the then in exile Prime Minister of the to-be Bangladesh, and we had that carte blanche, come in anytime, stay as long as you want for the sake of protection of Hindus and other minorities, and we did not do it. Now Mr. Modi knows about this secret thing. Why he did not do it? Who was he afraid of? And if he's afraid of, is he fit to be the Prime Minister of India? I want to know. I mean, what is the use of being a Hindu if anybody can kick us around? There are Hindus being kicked out in the West Indies. There are Hindus being kicked out in Britain. There are Hindus everywhere. They are being, and we are not in a position. Big country, 1.4 billion. We have become a joke. We are not being taken seriously. Even in the just Quad meeting, the cracks which Biden made in joke are not really jokes. They really hit you hard. Now, if I tell you what they are, people will soon ask, how did he get it? They won't ask me. They'll go back to the conference people and ask them, how did this leak out? And they only discuss the question of some chemicals coming or some medicinal matters coming to India. Japan had nothing to do with it. Australia had nothing to do with it. United States, of course, had something to do it because that fellow was an American. So they were protecting the American interests. And we surrendered that also. So I think, first of all, I will say that the Bangladesh thing has been is very, very sad. It's like what happened with France when in World War II, when Hitler came in, and how they surrendered and handed Hitler, welcomed him, gave him garlands and so on. The same way we have behaved. And I think Mr. Modi should, if he had a conscience, having failed, and failed not only here, not only in Bangladesh, but even in the Quad meeting, of not raising this matter, and the Americans not agreeing to raise this matter, allow this matter to be raised. We think that he should submit his resignation. That is what I will say at this preliminary level. I have more things to say later on after hearing other people.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Swamy. अरविंद जी, आप कुछ बात करना चाहते हैं इसके बारे में?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Swamy. I want to, Dr. Swamy, ask you one thing. You mentioned about the pact between Indira Gandhi and the Prime Minister of Bangladesh at that time in 1971. But when Sheikh Hasina was being attacked by the anti-Awami League forces, provocated by whichever forces, I'm not naming any, blaming any other country. But do you think at that point also, without Sheikh Hasina asking for any help from India, India should have interfered?
Did she not ask for help? How do you know she didn't ask for help? Just because she didn't scream in the public? She has also her own self-respect. She made it clear to our ambassador. Her own cousin, who was head of the army, he turned against her. So that time she had no other alternative. How do you communicate? If she had publicly communicated India come, then she would have been declared as a Tankhaya or whatever the Muslims call those who violate the Muslim code. So they would have, in fact, gone and butchered her perhaps. They wouldn't have let her even escape. So this is wrong to say that she didn't ask for help. Utter nonsense. She asked for help. They said, you come, we'll give you a place to stay. And now she's looking for some other place to stay because I think her son is somewhere in Europe or something like that. So what is the question is, what's the effect? We can't stand up to Maldives. They say, take your soldiers out. And we immediately take them out. The Chinese say, to hell with you. So, disputed, not disputed, we don't care. This is Chinese land. And you say, koi aaya nahi, koi gaya nahi. Nepal also doesn't treat you very well. Bhutan, which is always very complicit with us, now saying, no, don't worry about us. We can take care of China. We don't need you. So where are we? So I think the case is being made out, and Modi is an incompetent, unpatriotic Prime Minister of India, and the quicker he resigns and goes, or quicker those who have power in BJP kick him out.
And then we claim about the protecting Hindus' rights, and what we didn't do anything for Bangladeshi Hindus.
Not at all. How many of them were butchered? How many women were raped? We don't have the facts here. The international
violence is still going on unabated.
Yes.
And even the Ganpati Puja, though the Ganpati is not the first idol in for Bangladeshi Hindu, Durga is, but even Ganpati during last month, Ganpati Puja, the pandals were the pujas were disturbed and they were not allowed to do puja. And what we have done, Amit Shah's son, Jai Shah, is the head of the BCCI in India. We invited Bangladesh test team to play cricket match.
Yeah, that's it.
And did not even protest, even if suppose this was a commitment based on ICC. But then they should have said that, or at least warned, given them at least warning that if this violence against Hindus is not stopped, we will not play with Bangladesh.
Yeah.
And we invited Bangladesh team to play the 2 test matches in India.
Yeah, when you see, when people told me in the early stages, how can Modi send our army? I said, in our national interest, he can do it. But now, what is the argument?
Yes.
When this agreement is signed, or you tell me that this agreement that doesn't exist, and then we'll see how we bring out the original record. Maybe the Bangladeshis in power today, they may enjoy giving me the original document because it will embarrass Mr. Modi, like nothing. So I am only asking you, do we have a government? Do we have any self-respect? We talked about all our great Hindutva and this and that. What is this? It's happening everywhere. It's happening in Pakistan. It's happening in Bangladesh. God knows what else, where else it's going to happen. Who will care for respect the Hindus if in your neighborhood you can allow them all to be raped, you can allow the Durga statues to be knocked down, Kali Puja to be blocked, all this, the country which we liberated, our soldiers died for them to be liberated.
Yeah, in the light of this agreement that you are talking about, I think it is a historical fact that India government has been found wanting. Even when Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in 1975 was murdered, Sheikh Hasina's father. I mean, even at that time, India government did not act, though there was no BJP at that time. But I'm saying this is historical error, historical policy making, which has been gone wrong. Even 1975 or since then, whenever the Hindus have been at the point of gun and Hindus have been affected violently, and from 8% population they come down to less than 1%. None of the Indian governments have acted so far. And now we have an anti-India government there, though there is not a full-fledged government, but whatever system we have it there. And you have already mentioned about Mohammad Yunus, who is heading the government with the help of the US. And now, suppose they organize the elections, and the elections can be rigged everywhere. I mean, we all know. I'm not saying that India also we rig the election, but Rig Veda is very old Veda, so that rigging is possible everywhere. And if, for God forbid, if the government which comes after the new elections, and that is also anti-government, what is India's position going to be vis-a-vis Bangladesh?
Yeah, but why should I wait for the election? I wonder whether there will be an election at all. Why should there be an election? Who's challenging it? Who's going to be the opponent? They have not yet, I think, released that other lady who they put, Hasina put in jail. She's still not out. She should be allowed to start her political activities, but they have not allowed.
Dr. Swamy, they have said that for now, the Mohammad Yunus is saying it is not, my election is not priority.
That's right. There you are.
And in spite of the media in Bangladesh, now the media in Bangladesh is saying Yunus should complete crucial reforms first and stay in power for at least 2 years. Who is giving them this authority to say that he can stay in power for 2 years? It was supposed to be a democratic country, and the so-called US, that is a flag torchbearer of democracy globally, is not saying a single word. But they got rid of Dr. Swamy, there is a very famous Otto Bismarck said, "Don't believe anything unless it is officially denied." So the US officially denied that they played any role in this coup.
Yeah, they didn't have to. They were just sitting and enjoying it. They were there. Their presence was there. The ships were there.
Yes. And
again, I want to know why our Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, why didn't he raise this in the Quad
meeting? No, he did not, Dr. Swamy. There was no chance.
Why did he not? He only talked about an industrialist wanting to create some
vaccine in India, promote vaccines in India. Yeah, and haplessly on And Dr. Swamy, the Quad summit, they say, oh, it was supposed to be conducted elsewhere. They accommodated. Irrespective of the fact, we are seeing Hindus and Buddhists, their temples being demolished, they're being massacred, as you said, women are being raped, killed, people are being killed. Not even a single statement. Modi could not even muster a single statement made in the Quad saying that this has to stop.
Yeah.
And this is Quad. What is this Quad, Dr. Swamy? India, Japan, Australia, US. What is their focus? Indo-Pacific. In Indonesia. So is Bangladesh not part of this whole geographical area? Is Bangladesh in Timbuktu or in somewhere in Mars, in another planet? Because Dr. Swamy, there are papers out there, there are research papers out there that talk as to why this coup was really happened. Why did this coup really happen? There's a Saint Martin Island that the US wants some interest in because they want to station their navy. The Chinese want to have stationed their navy because they are giving billions of, they gave $14 billion to Bangladesh saying that we will build a deep sea port, which America is upset about. India said we will develop one more port for you and this and that. But at the end of the day, India chickened out. Now it is a clash between China and US. India is just sitting in the sidelines and watching, saying that koi aaya nahi, even there. Forget about koi aaya nahi in the northern part of China occupying your own country. Here also, they just turned a blind eye. I think Modi's philosophy or foreign policy or anything is that very simple. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist.
Ramesh, you live in the United States. You can tell us, is it a fact that Biden even forgot the name of Narendra Modi?
Yes, Dr. Swamy, he's kind of said, okay, who am I going to introduce next? I mean, he said, okay, he struggled, and some assistant said, he pointed out to Modi, and he said, it's going to be Narendra Modi. And when Modi came up to the stage, he said, okay, he is from a small country like us and with a very small population. I mean, some people say he's senile. Biden is senile. I'm not denying that fact. But these kind of mockery and, they, as they say in Tamil, that you put a needle inside a banana. You prick people in a very different way, and that they've done this beautifully in this particular case. Because why do this? First of all, there is no need for this summit. And one more thing, Dr. Swamy, Trump announced it nationally that Modi was supposed to see him. He's going to meet Modi, and he's a good friend of mine, and this and that. Suddenly, MBA did a U-turn and says, no, we are not meeting Trump. Right?
Yes.
I don't think Trump would have made this announcement if Modi had not committed to seeing him. I don't think Trump is that. I mean, Trump is not that desperate to meet Modi, but unless Modi expressed a wish to meet Trump, this could have not happened.
Of course, he did inform him, his people, now see, take another aspect of our relations with the United States, which is one of the two topics that we have today. Doval has been told to come to the United States. He will be probably arraigned before the court, and he will then have to be in jail till the case is over, because it's a murder case.
Yeah, he attempted murder on Panun.
Yeah. And as a consequence, Doval has skipped going to America this time with Modi. Now, I can't believe that your Americans are your friends, or that you have been able to cultivate them as friends. I certainly would like to have good friends with the Americans, but I know the American psychology. The more you bow and scrape, the more they'll kick you on the backside. You have to talk to them on an equality basis, or tell them, all right, we have nothing to do with you. You do what you like. We'll take care of ourselves. We'll close down all American companies in India. So I am only saying I'm more concerned about what other countries are doing to me. I am concerned about the loss of prestige of India. And every giggle, what is the use of everything? Even now, audience in America is being taken from India by Air India to go and cheer there and have a good time in America and come back. This is the...
That is, and it's happening in country after country.
I'll give you another example. You look at the picture of this Quad meeting. All the ministers of foreign affairs of the four of the four, the three, they are sitting in the first row. But our Jawaharlal Nehru University expert, he has been kicked to the second row. Why? I mean, there are only four. There are so many chairs there in the first row. How come he's sitting there in the second row?
Yes.
I mean, no self-respect. But the problem is it hurts the Bharat Mata's self-respect. These guys they can be thrown anytime. But Bharat Mata's self-respect is something is intolerable.
Sir, I think Modi's foreign policy more relies on his personal bond building than thinking of the country.
No bond. It's a master-servant relationship.
Correct.
They came to Bangladesh and participated, whether passively or actively, in the coup. Then what is this squad about? You want to bond with them? What bond? They're kicking in your teeth and you say, yes, master. I'm asking you, if you are an ally and your interests are in Bangladesh, it's in our neighbor. In fact, we created it. And the Americans come and sit there while an American person who's totally Americanized is brought in and put in as the acting president of Bangladesh. I mean, no self-respect. The Chinese come and grab 4,064 square kilometers of your land and you say, "Koi hai nahi?" Because they want what? You want to exempt the Chinese? Or you're too afraid what people will say that if you said, yes, the Chinese have come, then people will ask for action. That is the core of what we are very, very much concerned about.
Sir,
That national self-respect is being eroded by Modi.
Yes, it is
Sir,
very
China
clear
is also-
that India has not accepted this, that China has occupied some place, because even in the Quad meeting, when they were talking about the activities in the South Sea of China, they criticized China in a minor way, but they have not mentioned anything about aggression on Indian front.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, Modi's failure was even the Bangladesh joined the China's BRI initiative, like Belt and Road Initiative, where the Chinese investment in Bangladesh is also increasing. But our policy was only focused on one specific businessman in India, where he was being given all the contracts, and actually there we did not think anything like long term perspective from India's framework or India's progress, or like what we should have been thinking like. So it was total failure. Like India even purchased Russian oil when there were Western sanctions. So we also that time messed up the policy with the US and entire Europe, which was actually not purchasing any oil at that point of time. So,
Yeah. And just taking a little further, why did Modi go to Ukraine? Do you think the Ukrainians invited him? No.
And why Poland and Brunei?
No, that of course there may be
Brunei, of all the places.
monetary issues or something. Why did he go to Ukraine? Having gone to Ukraine, the president of Ukraine gave him a huge lecture. It was made clear that he wanted to come and they were they think well of India, so they're inviting him, and then went on to say all the wrong policies. After that, Putin tells Modi, how dare you go to Ukraine when I'm fighting them? You're supposed to be my friend. Explain what was the factor. So they send Doval. Doval sits there and sir, not like this, and sir, not like that. And as soon as he comes back, the Americans say there's going to be an arrest warrant on Doval if he doesn't turn up. And if he turns up, he'll have to be on bail. And since it's murder, he can't leave the United States of America. So your national security advisor, if on bail, not in jail, will not be able to come to India. I mean, what have we reduced our country to? It's I mean, it's 1.43 billion people, and somebody is kicking you around, whether it's Maldives or whether it's Nepal, all kicking you around. You may threaten the newspapers with that will cut you all your advertisement revenue, and they all crawl saying, no, please don't do that. And they only write what they want to say. Why is it that no newspapers carried this? I have said today that this document exists before Bangladesh was formed in Calcutta. Okay, so there was a ad hoc prime minister who sat with Indira Gandhi in Delhi, and they agreed to this thing that you can come anytime for Hindus, stay as long as you want in the new Bangladesh. And what do we see? In the Hindus getting butchered. And this is not only now. When she was president, many temples, people came to me and said, please come to Bangladesh. I said, what will I do in Bangladesh? I have no authority. And I don't even know her well enough to go and speak to her in this matter. I can speak to people in Sri Lanka, but I can't speak to, even to Nepal I can speak to, but not, I don't know anything about Bangladesh. Except that I know a lot of people there who have, enough people who have been with me in some earlier forum, different forum from politics, like at Harvard or while I was in IIT, like that. Some people I know. So from them I get to know that there exists this document. And then I trace it out and let them say that it doesn't exist. Then I will go to court and say that if it exists, it's against our national interests.
Sir,
on this account, I would like to blame all the previous governments also in India. I mean, whether it was Congress government or it was Janata Dal government or it was Vajpayee or Manmohan Singh.
True.
Starting from Zia-ur Rahman and then Khalida Zia and all the regimes, even before Sheikh Hasina, Hindus have been the target, and the Hindus have been forced to convert, and their women have been victimized. And for last 30 years, but no government of India has spoken. No representative of government of India has ever raised a voice. So it's a complete failure.
Sir, I have a question. Since Modi boasts himself as he has been very excellent with his global diplomacy, then why India still remains outside the Indian United Nations Security Council, which is a very important thing, because that itself tells us that Modi's foreign policy is failed, because we are yet to find a secure global leadership role for India after 2 terms.
Well, why should they care? I mean, they don't care for you in Bangladesh. They don't care for you anywhere. I mean, take even our, friend of years and years when we didn't even want to acknowledge them, the Israelis. Have you said one good word? What the Palestinians done for you? I mean, you say, you suddenly become a sadhu and say, no, justice has to be prevailed, and they also have a right and all. The Israelis have been our friends. They have come to us in all the wars of since 1965 and helped us with things which we couldn't get otherwise. And Mrs. Gandhi took it from them. Vajpayee took it from them. So, of course, Narasimha Rao was gutsy enough to diplomatically declare that we recognize Israel and we will exchange ambassadors. Nobody before, nobody after had the nerve to say that Israel can be a friend, whereas they were the friend, they were de facto friends. Even today, they are fighting for it. I mean, after all, the Hamas, what Hamas did on that October 7th or whatever date it was, my God, it's horrible. If you see the picture, you won't be able to sleep for days. And so these people have to retaliate in such a way that never again this should happen. So you start with them bouncing the poor Palestinian people are suffering and all that. Well, I mean, of course they are suffering. It's very sad that they are suffering, but in war, ordinary people suffer a lot. But Hamas was elected by these very same people. I can understand if they were shooting, but they stripped the women and all of them raped them in Jerusalem and then took them, dragged them away. I mean, if you know what all has happened, I don't think that one can, some may even lose their sleep. So bad. So these Israelis have rightfully suppressed all that, those things. But where are we been? Where's our morality? Why don't we ask the Palestinians, apologize for what happened on the 7th, and then we'll be with you. But we don't even ask that. Poor Palestinians, they're suffering, this and that. So I'm saying this, it's no use now going back to the Congress. I agree with Arvind Chaturvedi that I don't think Modi is exclusively the villain in this situation. But that's not we are supposed to be a different party, a party with difference. That's what we used to say. And if you can't defend your Hindus, then why call yourself a Hindu party or a pro-Hindu party?
Dr. Swamy, what to say about the Bangladeshi Hindus? BJP has not been, I'm sorry to say, BJP has not been able to protect Hindus in India itself. and they have been doing all anti-Hindu activities in the name of Hindutva. I mean,
yes.
The temples that have been taken over by the government of India and by the BJP state government, that is also opens our eyes.
Yes. I had to go to Uttarakhand, do you remember?
Yes.
I did in court against our own government, and I'm doing the same thing in Maharashtra.
Yes.
And they will all talk Hindutva. But when it comes to temples, they're all looting the temples. So, yes, I agree. Same thing happened in Karnataka, wherever we were in power. Perhaps the only place I can think of where we didn't do any such stupid thing was Assam. Even in Uttar Pradesh, he came close to getting tough with some for some temples, but then he was persuaded to stay back off. So I think there's something, this Jekyll and Hyde nature of leaders of the BJP who are with Modi, something that we have to think. I mean, if you want to save the party, Modi must go. With Modi, we can never revive again because people have found him out. And I'm going the length and breadth of India every day, somewhere or the other. I just come back today from Punjab. Nobody wants him. And when I say nobody, it will be 70%, 80%.
Yeah, I think the coming state elections in 2 states and later on another 2 states, that will also prove, and that will put a stamp on this.
Yeah. Maybe you will declare no elections till one election.
Now you say one nation, one election. They may say one nation, no election. Sir, one more thing I want to mention it. I have said it in the earlier program. We had one similar program on foreign policy in July. Once more we discussed in August. And I said at that time, the Indian prime ministers, including Mr. Modi. Of course, Modi is the current prime minister for 10 years, and so the blame goes on him. But including Nehru, Indira Gandhi, and whatever, except Manmohan Singh, perhaps, every Indian prime minister has been craving for Nobel Peace Prize. And
Yes.
for that, they have been doing everything. I mean, if you talk about Atal Bihari Vajpayee, I mean, he took a bus to Pakistan, and what General Musharraf did in Agra, we all know. So,
Yes.
and same with Modi. Modi went uninvited to Nawaz Sharif's wedding. I mean, things like that. That's what we are doing, and then we're taking a neutral stand on Russia and Ukraine. And I said it in the last program also on this issue that they did no policy be taking a neutral stand. I mean, you have to be on one side. And the way he hugs people, and Ramesh has said he wants to be friends with everybody. He wants to become Vishwaguru by that. उर्दू में एक बशीर बद्र शायर हुए हैं, उन्होंने एक बहुत बढ़िया शेर कहा है कि कोई हाथ भी न मिलाएगा जो गले पड़ोगे तपाक से, ये नए मिजाज का शहर है, जरा फासले से मिला करो.
See, I would say the fact is that there is no accountability anymore. No democracy can survive without accountability. Discipline has a limit. Discipline is an orderly way of doing things, nothing more. It doesn't call for silencing people. Now today we are in this situation where people are, all our news now you are getting only from these private publications. That is, private means those who are not in the mainstream of newspapers and media. You can turn on the usual media, the big five, as one can call them. You will not hear one word of criticism of government on a policy matter, or at least call two people, one who is opposed to the policy, one is for the policy. No, they don't. They are told that your income that you get from advertisement will close it off, and then the newspaper will collapse. So this issue of Bangladesh, in my opinion, is a turning point. It is blatant surrender of India's morality and its commitments. So that's why it's important to know, and it has ramifications. He went to the what is that committee, Quad,
Quad,
but did not raise this issue. Why? The principal Modi was with Biden. Biden was the principal in this Bangladesh operation by sitting by and ensuring that nobody will come while they complete the process, and they will get some kind of a base. So these are the things that we have no more any right to think of what other countries are doing is wrong. The question is, are you doing what you have the power to do? And if you're not doing that, don't blame anybody else.
So, Dr. Swamy, I'd like to make one point, Dr. Swamy.
Yeah.
What Modi has still not realized. See, we have seen a diplomatic failure, an intelligence failure. I am looking at this going to have an impact even on the economic side, Dr. Swamy, because Bangladesh is going to go through some economic crisis, and that impact is going to have a direct impact in India. Because what's going to happen? People are just going to start streaming across the border. As such, we have porous borders, be it the north, south, east, or west. This, in my personal view, Dr. Swamy, is going to have a severe impact on specifically states of West Bengal, or they're going to bear the brunt of this huge migration. And the second part, Dr. Swamy, India has been completely silent, blind, to the atrocities committed on Hindus in Bangladesh, not even raise this topic in the UN, saying that something has to be done. Why has India not raised this? I understand, Dr. Swamy, he could have raised it in Quad. The simplest thing India could have done is to bring international attention to this. Was why are they afraid to raise this in the UN, saying that there is a crisis going on? There is enough information and enough news coming out that the Hindus and Buddhists and every minority in Bangladesh are being subject to torture, rape, murder. Why has India not raised this topic in the UN, Dr. Swamy? So that's again another failure on India, not bringing attention to this fact that this is happening in Bangladesh.
Well, they told your foreign minister to sit in the second row. What do you want? The signal is clear. Just shut up and lump it. That's all. The foreign minister should have walked out. Said, I won't sit here. And then see the effect.
And that too, not even in the White House, Dr. Swamy. This is in a lawn in Delaware. It is surprising that this whole summit is happening in Delaware of all places, because a summit of this significance should have happened in the White House lawns. It has not. And number two, the joint declaration has got nothing to, it's not talking about anything significant, but a cursory reference to China. Nothing more. It's all about some vaccine, some health initiative, all things that are irrelevant to what is really going on in the Indian subcontinent today, Dr. Swamy. Because right. China is a serious threat. Bangladesh is in a serious issue today, where we are not, both these topics have not been talked about in the Quad summit. And what is India's role in the den? What is India bringing to the table? Just being a chamcha there? Oh, we have a waiter. So I think in that case, maybe India is very useful. At least he can serve chai pani to the people there. I mean, going to such an important summit, and as you said, not raising this issue is an opportunity lost completely, and it is a betrayal of the Hindus in Bangladesh.
Yes.
Sir, on economic front also, actually, we are facing issues because now the US has imposed tariffs on Indian products, and they have removed us from the GSP program, which is the generalized system of preferences. So that has affected our Indian exports also. So on economic front also, we are having a big hit actually.
Yeah. But it won't appear in the newspaper, so people won't know till it hits them on the face. So we'll have a chance to discuss economic matters one of these days soon, the way things are going. But I think for this awareness that we wanted to create, but we are now wobbling, knees knocking, whether it's China, whether it's the United States, or whether it's Muslims of Bangladesh, we are creating an impression that India can be kicked around. And that is very sad. And I think I want to urge Mr. Subramanian Swamy to conclude the matter for us.
No, Arvindji, before you finish, let me have this is Dr. Swamy. This is my personal appeal to fellow Indian Americans here. But every time Modi comes, please, I sincerely request you, don't do this garba, don't do this nautanki on the streets every day. It is cringe. Absolutely, it is shameful. Don't do this. You don't have to do every time this guy. He's not a cinema star. Okay, please try to understand. This is not how we are. Indians are considered a cream of the cream, where we are educated people. Don't show these kind of low-level thinking of doing garba every time that Modi comes to movies, comes to you are saying sudden or streets are lined with, or some people come and jump. Please don't do this. We can show our culture. We can show what we are in much better ways than doing this kind of noting. This is my personal appeal, Dr. Swamy. Sorry to use this platform, but this is really it's really cringeworthy. That's what I can say. Oh, go ahead, Arvindji, please conclude.
Yeah. We are about to complete an hour. As I said earlier, thank you, Dr. Swamy. As I said earlier, that we have discussed this issue. This is the third time we are discussing in Modi's failure on foreign policy. In last 2 months, we discussed this in July when Modi went to Russia. Then we discussed when last month also, and this month. And every time, the Dr. Swamy, you have argued, and with the very convincing arguments, that how Modi and his external affairs department has completely failed. In fact, what Tejas said just now, he has not only failed on foreign affairs, he has failed on economic affairs in India. He has failed on domestic affairs, the internal affairs. In fact, 100 days, which was celebrated just few days back, this 100 days is actually 100 days of failure. And the BJP, the sooner they find solution, the better. And it is not that the BJP government Modi government has failed only in these 100 days. As I said, as Dr. Swamy has been saying, economy has been going downtrend in 2016 onwards, and there has been no correction. And though we have just recovered from the COVID failure of economy, but still we are miles away from the targeted growth. And therefore, the blame should go only to the Prime Minister and his cabinet team. Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for raising this issue once again. Very important issue, and bringing in to the light the 1971 thing, which was not mentioned by many people. You brought it today again when Indira Gandhi had an agreement with the Bangladesh Prime Minister. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Tejas, for being with us. And the technical team led by Ashish Shetty, Gadgi Rakesh, Ishwar Iyer, Surya Swaminathan was not there. Gadgi Rakesh, Swaminathan, Tejas Navalgul, and Vishal Mehta, Ajesh Nair, and Gurdat Sethi. Next Sunday, Dr. Swamy will be traveling to Prayagraj, and therefore next Sunday we will not have a program. In fact, last Sunday also we celebrated Dr. Swamy's birthday in Sringeri, and therefore we did not have the Words of Wisdom episode. Episode number 247 will now be on 6th of October, skipping the next Sunday. Thank you very much. We'll be meeting on 6th October with a new topic and Dr. Subramanian Swamy. Till then, Namaskar, Jai Hind.